When Macraes Gold Mine in Otago was set up back in 1990, its developers initially assumed a mine life of 7 or 8 years. At 35 years young, its longevity is due in no small part to geologists like Cam.
As we mine, obviously, we use up resource. We're trying to replace that resource by looking down dip, targeting mineralisation beyond where we already know it is. We might start with mapping the geology first, understand the rocks, and then we think, oh, there's potential for something here, we'll do some soil sampling. If there's gold there, we'll follow up with some drilling.
This particular exploration has been made viable thanks to a surging gold price.
Right here we're looking at expanding the old Coronation North open pit. Original calculation said it was uneconomic. Now, current gold price, it is economic and it is worth exploring.
To be able to expand here, or even just operate where they are already, Macraes has to gain resource consents from local and national authorities and comply with the conditions. A big part of that is the management of the potential impacts on air, water and land, including plants and animals. This is where Avi and the environmental team come in. She took me out on a bug hunt in one of the 28 streams she monitors around the mine site.
So we're looking at the water quality, and this is just one way that we can monitor and manage that, is looking at the invertebrate community that lives in the streams.
And so the looking began.
Stir this up, all the invertebrates and bugs live under these rocks.
After a few shakes, we pulled up the net to inspect our first haul.
That's a really good sign. That big critter in the bottom there with legs.
Oh yeah.
Commonly referred to as a toe biter. So we know that this guy lives in streams that are of a higher quality.
Right.
And you can see why he gets that name toe biter.
After practicing a little toe biter catch and release, Avi took me over to a site where Macraes had re-established rock tours for local lizard species to inhabit.
Yeah, when we go in and look at mining an area, we actually have to relocate the lizards. So we've got a lot of projects like that on the go, and then we also do things to replace habitat and create it for them to move into. We always make sure that they're north facing, so this gets straight sun all summer. And then in the back you can see that we've insulated with the soil and the tussock. These plants are all food for them, the wee berries, and then the tussock and the soil provide shelter and warmth.
Out of the way of the lizards and the wind, Avi told me how she ended up here at Macraes.
Otago's home. Mum and Dad have always been in Dunedin, so yeah, this is my region. I've come from a marine science background, and I finished studying and was a bit bored, so signed up with a recruitment agency that placed me out at the mine, and kind of from there ended up getting into the environment team, which has been amazing. There's 8 of us, which is quite a big size for the mine, but we've got a big area, so we've got a lot to do.
I didn't have long left at Macraes, but I just had time for a whirlwind tour of the processing plant.
And that has 125 mil balls.
With up to 100 staff working just in this processing plant, I would need some help getting my head around all the moving parts.
And we try to get it to talcum powder site.
Okay, right.
Metallurgist Gawa kindly gave me a basic overview.
So for the ore that we've got that comes from the mines, it goes through 8 different stages. So we got the crushing and then comminution, and then goes through flotation, pressure oxidation, CIL, carbon and leach, and then elution circuit, and then goes through the electrowinning, and then eventually the smelting.
The smelting of the gold bars is done in Macraes Gold Room.
So when it goes through the gold room, basically it's all highly concentrated dissolved gold or liquid gold.
Before I followed that liquid gold, I wanted to know more about Gawa's role in this incredibly complex process.
So as a metallurgist, I see the processing plant and the whole process like baking a cake. We've got all the ingredients, and then we've got the recipes that the metallurgist comes up with all the different steps. The operators, they run the plant according to that recipe. We're always trying to keep optimizing to make sure that what we're baking, the gold, is of a higher degree in terms of its purity, and also we get more of it.
With a taste for gold I could no longer ignore, I followed the cake batter through the plant and made my way to the gold room, where the men in spacesuits had already fired up the furnace in preparation for a pour. While we waited for things to heat up, I asked gold room supervisor, Tom, to take me through how the liquid gold becomes a solid bar.
Basically, the liquid gold comes into this room. We pass it through our electro-wind cells. In our cells, we have frames with steel wool. We put an electrical current through, and the gold deposits onto the steel wool. We put it in an oven where it dries, and we'll chop it up and add some flux reagents. We can then load it into the crucible, and we heat it up for sort of 2 hours, and it gets up to a bit over 1,000 degrees, 1,064 degrees before it's molten enough to pour into the molds. You'll see when we pour that it all looks the same in the cascade molds, but there's only gold in the first one. The gold's heavy and it sinks, and the slag, which is essentially the steel wool and other impurities, fills up the rest of the molds.
I asked Tom how he ended up pouring gold bars in Otago.
I've been here with the company for 14 years now.
Oh yeah, what were you doing before?
I was actually at university studying tourism and economics, but that's another story. It's been a great place to work, and I've stayed here, yeah.
With the furnace now up to temperature, it was time for the gold to flow.
Just as Tom has described, the first mould filled up with the heavy gold, and the lighter slag flowed over the top and down into the others. The now solid but still hot bar was taken to the water bath for quenching, and then given a scrub down with the needle gun. Once the cleanup was over, Macraes' most newly minted bar was weighed and finally stamped. It's not every day you get a chance to hold a freshly poured 18 kilogram gold bar, and I wasn't going to miss this opportunity.
Quite heavy. I'll put that down carefully. It's quite hard because you're only really holding it with your fingers as you place it down. So.
Safe to say, my day had peaked. It was time to say goodbye to the guys in the gold room and the rest of the Macraes Gold Mine crew. Thanks to everyone who helped make this visit possible, and to those who shared a little glimmer of their story with us. Make sure you join us next time as we continue to meet the miners.